Tammy Daybell is still alive, but that doesn't stop Lori and her kids from packing the car and heading to Rexburg. Rexburg, Idaho has no idea the demon's heading to that area. Lori Vallow has had several visions. One of those visions tell her that she's not innocent, and she's not one who avoids confrontation. Lori says that she sees that she is a brutal warrior. She's just not any warrior. Lori's the warrior of God, the future prophetess of the new religious order, the 144,000. She is surrounded by her bodyguards. One of those bodyguards is her brother, Alex Cox. The other is Zelima. And Alex Cox's dedication to his sister's cause is deep. Alex Cox is willing to do whatever he is called to do. And we know that he's already done one questionable act to his brother-in-law, Charles Vallow, who is now dead. As Lori closes in on Rexburg, Idaho, her brother had already been to these townhomes, found a place for them to live, where he made arrangements for him, Lori, and Melanie Boudreaux. Melanie Boudreaux's divorce was going through, though she was trying to slow it down. We know this. Lori was a single mom, and Alex Cox was a single man. They all live in this little townhome community in Rexburg, where Melanie Boudreaux lives right beside her Aunt Lori, and Alex Cox just lives a few units away. Lori Vallow has already started the process of being a translated being, along with her niece Melanie, her brother Alex, and we all know Chad Daybell. Such beings seem to have greater power than mortals. All translated beings will eventually experience a physical death and resurrection. Resurrection is a step beyond translation, and persons that are translated prior to the resurrection will be resurrected with Christ himself. Translated beings are assigned special ministries. Some remain among the mortals, as you see Lori and Chad do. Their lifestyle similar to the three Nephites. It seems that this group of people are working more towards building a translated community familiar to Enoch. But according to Joseph Smith, his idea, or the role that these translated beings play, is many have supposed that the doctrine of translation was a doctrine whereby men are taken immediately into the presence of God, thus into the eternal fullness. But this is a mistaken idea. Their place of habitation is that of a terrestrial order. So these translated beings are also referred to as ministering angels, are on many planets. They're not just on Earth. And again, are the people or beings so great in fulfillment, it's better than being resurrected with God. So basically, there's also two words that we need to know, and that's transfiguration and translation. In some instances, transfiguration is more of a temporary, whereas translation is suggested to be more permanent. Now, many of their reasonings, their mad reasonings for what they're doing right now, for destroying so many lives, is the fact that they believe in reincarnation, essentially premortal lives. And let me tell you, both Chad and Lori believe that they can teleport from state to state, from room to room, from place to place. Lori Daybell even told a friend that she could teleport between Arizona and Hawaii. Let's not forget the fact that Chad Daybell reportedly told a group that he had a portal in his home where he could receive revelation and travel to other realms. Most importantly, both of them reportedly reveal whether individuals are part of this 144,000, a significant body of the last day believers mentioned in the book of Revelation. So Lori and her two children in the car driving alone towards Idaho. A big change in their lives And I think it's about a 13-hour drive. Friends and loved ones say that Tylee didn't want to go, but she had no choice. She had to stay with her little brother, JJ. Summer and Janice, Lori's sister and mother, they have no idea that they are dark at this time. In a later interview, Summer shares her ideas of why she thinks Lori's doing this in this time frame, and that she has the right to exclude whoever she wants to exclude. One of the main reasons that they believe that Lori's leaving is Kay's threatening Lori.
But we also don't know what Lori has been through. She was being threatened. She was being followed. She had reasons for doing what she did, and we don't know everything that she's been through or why she's doing things the way that she's doing them now.
Who's threatening her? Who was threatening her?
Well, Kay was threatening her.
And her brothers. They're very upset about Charles's death. There was a lot of threats made to Lori.
I feel like Kay could have handled this a lot of different ways. And she could have gone and filed in court for JJ. She could have done things a lot of ways. She did this very strategically and deliberately. This is somebody who's hurting and in pain because she's lost her brother, and I understand that. But this is a revenge situation. This is not this is something that could have been settled much quieter and calmly, and it didn't have to get to this level. Lori is the legal parent of both Tylee and JJ. She has a right to live wherever she wants to live and raise them and not include anybody in their lives that she doesn't feel is good for them. That's her right as a parent. She should not be forced to do any of the things that she's been asked to do. It's not okay.
What is not okay is what Kay Woodcock is going through. She's trying her best to save JJ's life, knowing the threats that were made against him and Tylee and Charles Vallow. Summer's brother, Adam Cox, tried to warn them something's very wrong, that they need to do something, but they refuse to help save lives. They know who Lori Vallow is, and they know that she can be quite threatening. Yet, they continue to support Lori. All the while, Lori Vallow is marking her very biggest advocate, Summer Siflin, as a dark spirit. A lot of people are wondering why Lori is so sloppy and open about the things that she's doing. Well, according to an interview in 2020 with Melanie Gibb, Lori's good friend, Melanie Gibb says that Lori believed that things would go so bad on Earth that no one would notice all the things that she was doing. And the fact that she says that almost incriminates her, because what is she doing that it needs to be hidden? For a long time, Lori has been going through books like Visions of Glory, reading articles on the computer, research on the second coming, and what it's going to be like when Christ returns. Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell believed that there was a reformation coming. So what does that mean? Well, many of us have prayed for this, prayed for people to be healed, for things to change. Let me share what Melanie Gibbs said with Nate Eaton.
22nd.
2020. Is the world going to end that day?
No, the world's not going to end.
But Lori believes it will, or at least believed it, and Chad.
Right, so let me just back up for a little bit to help you understand a little bit why all these people died and all these people started missing. That's kind of sloppy work. It's obvious that the kids are missing, so wouldn't you be concerned that people would notice? That was my thought. It was like, why? But the belief system is that she believed that there was going to be an earthquake that was going to hit so large in Utah that by the end of 2019, that they wouldn't notice anything in her personal life going on. So if she were to marry Chad, for example, she said that like probably a year before that, so when Chad and I get married someday, nobody will notice we're married because of the earthquake and the different destruction going on. So as I now understand that the kids are now missing, that she felt confident in doing that, thinking that nobody would notice. And that's why it was kind of done in a sloppy way. I mean, that's how I see it. It's kind of like a, that wasn't very orchestrated very well.
Now, media has tried to follow this, and they tried to say that there were end dates that were wrong. In fact, Chad's prediction of the end days would be this year in 2024. But let's listen to what they believed at the time.
It was kind of like a, that wasn't very orchestrated very well.
So she thought, or at least she said, there'll be a huge earthquake in Salt Lake City, and everybody will be so focused on that,
Right.
that we'll be able to do what we need to do.
Correct.
So how does July 22nd come about?
Well, I never heard that date. I always heard August. But that comes from a few different ideas it didn't come from her. I'll just say that. It came from different research and she did on her own about the year 2020 would be like a half an hour silence in heaven. And that...
I'm really confused by what Melanie Gibb is saying here, because it's definitely the end of the world was not 2020, nor was it 2022. But she does admit to the fact that Lori Vallow is the one doing her own research, coming up with her own ideas of what is happening in the future and what she sees.
It matched up to that year. And so that because she believed that it was going to happen according to like what she thought was going to happen at that time, which there was nothing shared on that subject that will say, well, this particular thing is going to happen on that day. But she had concluded herself and wanted to really believe that something could happen.
Now remember, they believed that they could call on these natural disasters themselves. This is part of being a translated being. I think what Melanie Gibb is leaving out is not only was she researching, but she was creating these disasters for her benefit. At least she thought she was. Oftentimes, Lori would call upon her fellow translated beings to help her move the energies and create the scenario they wanted. It's very obvious that Melanie Gibb is hiding a lot of information while doing these interviews. She's pushing herself away from something she knew that she supported nearly 100%. So that's interesting. So anyways, guys, I'm going to call it early today. I've had a lot going on, a lot of doctor's appointments. Make sure that you take a moment to like, subscribe, and share. I would really appreciate it. I will see you guys soon. I love you. And don't forget to share some of our missing girls' faces on your social media today.